Welcome to TV Houston's second show with the Diversity Talk. And Diversity Talk is sponsored by Diversity Political Coalition. We have 4 different pillars with us. We do rallies for candidates who are in the candidates, as well as the voter registration, people who want to come out and vote and they're not coming out. We just go out door to door and make sure that they register for voting. The third thing we do is a diversity PAC, which is a political action committee. The fourth pillar that we have is the Diversity Political Action Committee, and this is the show that we have it here, sponsored by Diversity Political Coalition. My name is Sangeeta Dua. I am the co-founder of Diversity Political Coalition and the host today, and I guess the host today. I'm the only host today. And I have 2 guests here with me. I have Mr. Frank Monticelli. Welcome to the show.
Nice to be here, thank you.
And I have Dr. Asaf Kadir. Welcome to the show, sir.
Glad to be here.
Yes, and welcome to both of you to our Diversity Talk. And what we're going to do is we're going to discuss our issues, the political issues that are going on, especially between the candidates, the presidential candidates. But before we did that, I will give you a chance to go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience.
I am Dr. Asaf Kadir, and first of all, I want to thank you, Sangeeta, for inviting me for your diversity show today. And I came in 1980 to Houston and got my education in Baylor College of Medicine. And after that, I chose a economically depressed area, Acres Home, and I set up my practice there. And with the help of my community, I've been serving there for a year. I also did not lose my links with Baylor College of Medicine. I still teach Baylor College of Students, and I also serve as a clinical assistant professor of Baylor College of Medicine.
Okay, yes, thank you so much for your introduction. And please also tell us, how are you connected to the politics? Are you a Democrat? Are you a Republican?
My district is 18, where my business is, my practice is. And we are fortunate that Congressman Sheila Jackson Lee represents that. And we have issues, larger issues in that area. And she has a lot of visits there. And during the pursuit of my coming to America, the dreamland, I ended up owning a hospital in Acres Home area, Doctor's Hospital, Tidwell. And that gave us the opportunity, me and a lot of doctors who practice there, to be close to Congresswoman and her help and her indulgence of our difficult time that we had at hospital. So I had a lot of interaction with Democrats.
So I take it you're a Democrat?
I have worked with Democrats a lot.
Okay, good to know that. And Mr.
Monticelli,
Frank, yes, Mr. Frank, would you introduce yourself a little bit?
Will do. I came to Houston in 1978, transplant from Oklahoma, and I got a degree in human resources and worked in the energy business a little bit under human resources during the bad times of Houston in the 1980s, where a lot of people were getting laid off instead of hired. Found myself wanting to do something a little bit different. Decided to get on the other side and become a business owner. So about 1987, I joined my wife, which is Gloria Nino, which is the owner, as well as I am, with Nino Properties. And we've been doing basically 3 things for the whole time that we've been in business, which is mainly helping the corporate relocation industry with either rental assistance, all residential, home sales and listings, and short-term temporary lodging accommodations, of which some goes hand in hand with Texas Medical Center and helping folks that could be coming over here using and needing short-term housing as patients, unfortunately, for MD Anderson Cancer Center.
Wonderful. So what party are you representing today?
I am representing the Republican Conservative Party. That's right. Okay.
Yes, so good to know that I have the right wing and the left wing. They're both with me right here. Are you ready to fight? Well, not fight, but we're just going to have some discussion. Well, on the June 12th of this month, there was a shooting in Orlando,
Yes.
and a lot of lives were lost. A lot of people got injured, and some of us got deeply wounded with this tragic event that just took place in Orlando. My main question, I think I'll ask the same question to both of you. Who is to blame? Should we blame the Islam, the radical Islam, or should we blame just the individual candidate who was from the gay community, or is it homegrown, or who do we blame? Who should we blame? I'll start with you, Mr. Frank.
Okay. Tough question. I think there's probably enough blame to go around, but you've got a lot of issues that you're dealing with when you're talking about blame. So this particular gentleman ended up being what we would consider to be part of the Muslim community, I guess, obviously, as he pledged his allegiance to ISIS on the 9/11 call.
Yes, because of his name, Omar Siddiqui.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that that's another unfortunate incident for the Muslim community to have something like this happen. But be that as it may, I think that you have to go that route and understand that he's part of that group, or is part of that ideology, I guess. Now, getting to the point to where he was actually able to kill all of the people and wound the others in the Pulse nightclub is a series of things that I guess are going to be debated a long time. But most of it's kind of traveling down the path of how did he get these weapons of war, right? You know, for somebody that had the background that he had, that obviously had warning signs along the way that we've all heard over the news, the dots could have been connected a little bit better, no doubt about it.
I'm glad you mentioned the dots, and I'm glad you mentioned the connectivity. Dr. Kadir, let me ask you a question related to that. We all know that he was being investigated by FBI a couple of times, and he was given not having any warnings or anything. He was just left alone. Is this, we call it a weakness of our FBI, that they weren't able to figure it out early enough? Or who do we blame for this one? Is this, I mean, this is not a very young kid, or this is not an older person, very well thought of. This was planned because the ammunitions were brought, and his wife, drove him there and left him there and tried to convince him not to do that. And I mean, that doesn't look like someone just did it impulsively, or just out of the moment, got caught in the moment and did something, radical. But it was well thought of. So who should we blame? The Islam or the gay community? Because part of it was said that yes, he was a regular visitor of that club, and a lot of people were telling that yes, he was a part of the gay community. He had his profile on the gay community website and all of that. So it's still a little confusing for us. So what's your opinion on that?
First of all, I think it's a sad day for America. Sad day for all those families. My heart goes to the families who had got so much pain and suffering, and their family. But beyond the thought process of being a religious issue, there are certain facts that we need to examine and think. First of all, which my friend Frankie has also mentioned, that getting an assault weapon like that, and that is an issue which needs to be debated, both sides, Republican and Democrat. And we have legendary people like Mitch McConnell. We have big people like Maverick, like John McCain. These people who are leadership position, they need to find out a way. How can we come out to wrestle this idea of gun control? So if he didn't have the weapon, he was on terror list. Can't this terror list should also be the list where they can't get the weapon? I mean, these are the things, the mechanism of our leadership should find a way that these weapons should not go to a person who can use them.
Yes, but
in this specifically this case, this person has the way I have understood, has a issue of temper right from his school. And
But he was a security guard.
well, his anger and so many times people have interrogated him. He had an internal anger, but he brought out that anger outside. As a physician, I'm telling you. And he laid his anger to the innocent people by going there.
Okay, very good.
And that,
we will come back to this issue
that
once
itself
again.
looks like a personality issue, one specifically. And this is a fact that so many people have investigated his background.
We have to take a break at this point, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to TV Houston Diversity Talk. As we were discussing the Orlando bombing and Orlando shooting. I'm so sorry. Yes, we were discussing about that, and we want to go back to you. You were answering about that candidate.
Well, relative to the gun issue, if you will, that seems to be what everybody's making the issue out to be. So, from a Republican perspective, you know, we're talking about the Second Amendment rights, which we're debating and going back and forth constantly, and it's a very heated battle. And as you saw today, probably got to be exceedingly heated, and I'm not sure, but it would look like the Democratic Party is still probably staging their sit-in on the floor, because that bill was defeated today. So it is something that Dr. Ossoff was talking about, that I do think that, sure, there's got to be more and more discussion about it. It needs to be more common ground. But quite frankly, I think the issue needs to be more and more about the vetting of who gets a gun and how they get the gun. And I think if all the dots were somewhat connected with this gentleman, there's no way, and everybody agrees to that,
So
he should have ever bought a gun.
So you're saying that it has nothing to do with the religion?
No, it certainly,
nothing
from
to
my
do with the gay
perspective, and
community.
I think the perspective that I would take is that it does have something to do with religion. I think the background of why he did that had something to do with religion. I don't think he just was a person that was psychologically off.
My question was not if it has something to do with the gun or the law or anything like that. My question was simply, was it a radical Islam, or was it an issue of a gay community?
I don't think that, in terms of asking that question, was it an issue of the gay community, meaning an issue with him of the gay community, or do you
Him being a gay.
Him being a gay? Well, it could be that in his particular religion, I mean, that is something that you just don't do, obviously, right? And to probably be gay, as I suspect he was, I guess that's what you're saying, you know.
No, 'cause he was
evidence
born
is leading
here.
that way, right?
He was
That's
born
even
here
a double
in the
down.
United States.
Right.
He was raised here in the United States. He went to school and college here in the United States. So does that make it a homegrown? That's a question to you, Mr.
I think religious books, both Quran and Bible, does not condone homosexuality. You know, knowledge is a big thing. If you read both scriptures, both of them, they don't, condone that.
Yes.
When you see on the 12th of June, so many people die, you should also know the same day in this country, there were 43 shootings. No, we don't know because that didn't get highlighted. But this certainly looks like that he may, obvious comments sound like a hate crime because he hated.
Who did he hate? Himself or other people?
I mean, he externalizes hate into innocent people, and then went down there and whatever thought process he had, he unleashed on innocent people.
But I think I was hearing that he had called the 911, and he had made some other phone calls on the local channel 13, and he was explaining how he was related or maybe supported or by the ISIS.
Well,
just admitting that why was he admitting to be connected to the ISIS if he was not? And not only that, prior to that, he had two visits to Saudi Arabia, and to the same guy who had been helping or been involved in the other shootings and the other terrorist activities in this country.
I think what he did was not right. Mm-hmm. I think what he caused inflicted pain to so many people. Mm-hmm. That wasn't right. But I feel that if there was a way that in this country we had a common sense laws on guns, mm-hmm. this could have been avoided.
So you still feel like it's because of the gun law?
I think
it has nothing to do with anything else.
I don't think it's more like having a gun. It is specifically of an assault weapon gun, mm-hmm. which is an issue. I understand we believe in civil liberties. I am all for defending ourselves, but I'm thinking that the leadership in this country should now begin to think that the people who are on the watch list, people who are on the no-fly list, mm-hmm. There should be some inherent mechanism. Those people who are volatile.
Definitely.
And in this country, if I give you statistic of how much psychiatric problem is, you'll be astonished. Mm-hmm. That's a very high number of it. So it is not only this, that for the sake of our children's children, and making it sense, we need to have some or the other. The congressional leadership of this country is rating mm-hmm. better than 9 to 10%.
Yeah, correct.
And they need to come and wrestle this thing. Mm-hmm. It is the American people we are talking about, people like you and me, people who are common people, mm-hmm. who are unsung heroes.
Yes.
And for their sakes, we need to preserve the liberty, we need to protect the Second Amendment, but we also have to have common sense laws in this country that the assault weapon don't go to the hand that it hand to this man, yes. who did such a horrific
Qadir, you have written
tragedy.
5 books, and you are still practicing medicine. Being a doctor, what do you think, in your opinion, when a person like him, person like Omar Siddiqui, he goes out and he does something totally out of the blue, and it hurts so many people, it kills so many people, it's very damaging to the brains of the little brains of these little children in this country, especially the children who are born here but they practice Islam. So when these children are hearing this and they go out in the communities, in school, in colleges and jobs, what's going on in their head is like what they have to face, why they have to feel guilty about the religion that they practice. Not necessarily these are the same people, or they also are the criminal minds and they also have, they want to live a peaceful life. They are in this country for the better opportunities and to live a good life. So what kind of impact these kind of activities could have on these children who are growing up here?
I think the message we need to give it to our children that America is a multicultural, successful society where we are doing partnership with all kind of religious people in business. We need to, and we have lived in harmony, in peaceful way, and there is nothing that we can't solve without peaceful mean of if we have a difference. If somebody practices any religion and if he is satisfied with it and he is a good human being, for me it's good already. Mm-hmm. But doing this thing, whether Mr. Umar did it or somebody else does it, I think no civilized society condones it.
Okay, yeah, good. So when Donald Trump says that, and he says that very openly, he says that to total shutdown on the Muslim community, no matter where they come from, Is that what you agree with, since you're representing the Republican Party?
Well, I think what he's basically saying is that you've got to take some kind of a radical approach, unfortunately. And, you know, this kind of situation requires something to be done quickly, right? Now, taking a radical approach is not what anybody wants, but you have to do something, and then to me, you can always kind of come back from that, or you can back off a little bit on whatever that approach is. But, you know, the liberal mentality is about being politically correct.
No, not liberal. I'm talking about the Republican Party. I'm
well,
talking about Mr. Trump. He's right now is a front runner. He is the presidential candidate, and he said total shutdown on the Muslim community.
What he's saying, I think, more so than that, is that you've got to have total vetting of the Muslim community coming in, of any Muslim coming in.
But he also said about profiling them too.
Well, I think just by virtue of the fact that we're talking about what we're talking about, you're automatically profiling. Now, if you want to call that profiling, I mean, that discussion, you know, can go on and on for days, and it usually does. I mean, if you know, like a lot of people used to say, if it walks and acts and talks like a duck, it's a duck, right? I mean, we're looking for people that right now, unfortunately for these kind of situations, according to Trump, need to be vetted more than what we are doing. We don't even do a good job, as he said, with the border. So, you know, what makes us think that anybody that, like ISIS is even talking about bringing people into, by virtue of the refugee population, we're going to be able to even capture those people, or be able to find out if they're trying to come in, if we're not really doing as much as we can on the vetting process. And if you want to call that profiling, I guess it is profiling, you know.
But with the Obama administration, they had accepted close to 10,000 refugees. Now, in Clinton's side, her administration, in her plan, they are willing to accept more than 62,000 new refugees, as I know. So that many people coming into the country, and what is going to be the plan? How he's going to profile everybody, and how he's going to do that? It's just put a little light on that.
Okay. I would tend to think that the way Trump is going to do that is just set in place some rigid standards.
Okay.
Just as the issues that we have right now, we have laws for almost everything that we have issues with. We just don't enforce the laws.
But does he have a plan?
Well,
does he have a proper plan how he's going to run his cabinet? And how he's going to do that?
I don't know that I could say that he's got a specific plan. I don't know what that specific would be. I think anything that he has on the radar screen right now is probably better than not having a plan at all, which is simply, we're not going to, we're just going to allow anybody to come in and everybody come in because we need to feel good about this, right? I just don't think the Republican Party, and certainly Trump, representing the Republican Party, agrees with that philosophy. And that's why it seems very radical.
Well, in today's speech that he gave, he made some good points. I think this was the first speech that was given by Mr. Donald Trump that he actually read through the teleprompter, and he was good, and kind of get a good impression that he has. Now we can think of it, we can look at him as a presidential candidate. Well, because, you know, before the other speeches that he had given and a lot of issues that they were there, today he mentioned one thing. He says Clinton is the world-class liar.
Well, as I think Paul Ryan was asked that same question of that Trump statement, Paul Ryan took the middle road and said, you know, I don't know that I could tell you specifically and agree with that, but she has plenty of baggage in her history that would lead you to believe that. Okay?
We're going to discuss more of that once we come back from the break. Welcome back to TV Houston Diversity Talk. Before we left for break, we were discussing about the candidate Hillary Clinton. And this time, I'm going to have the same question for you, Dr. Kadir. Hillary Clinton was called a world-class liar. Your comment.
Well, first of all, I love America. I know Donald Trump loves America, same as Hillary loves America. And he doesn't love America more than me. We all love America. And my view on this is very simple. She is first-class politician. She is first-class champion, and she's going to make the history in America being first woman of president. So this is talking points on either side. You need to actually see who is going to do when they become president, because either of them, one of them will become president. And it is not about them that they want to be president. It is we, the people, who are going to get them in.
Well, she was the first lady.
I have seen that she has put down her views and thought process, which is very important on economy, on immigration, and globalization, and trade. Same as Donald Trump has eloquently put down his agenda of wall, how he's going to improve the lives, how he's increase the wages. And it is up to the arena of the American people who's going to decide who they want to run this country. In my personal view, the way I look at it, people are not going to be persuaded by name calling. American people are intelligent people. They have gone through so many cycles of election.
Okay. Let me say something on behalf of the people. They will say, well, she was the first lady, and then she was first lady repeatedly the second time, and then she was the Secretary of State. She had plenty of time, and American people did not see many changes. People did not feel that she could win, as that's one of the reasons, because of the Trump is actually winning a lot of votes, and he is still ahead of the race. What is the reason then, if that was what you said was true?
Well, if you say all this thing, and if you are looking at the national polls, poll after poll, we see that Donald Trump is a little behind than her. And it has happened more so after he got the nomination. Why so? Time can tell. Whether his message is not getting out, and Hillary's message is now getting out because she has now clinched the nomination, presumptive nominee. And I can say the speech of Donald Trump, last speech, he's beginning to move to tell what his thought process is. And I think the more he does that, and more Hillary Clinton brings her agenda, there will be more contrast, and they'll compare, and that's where the American people will vote.
Okay,
there are battleground states where they are even. There are battleground states where Hillary Clinton is still ahead of her. And if the election occurs today, I think there may be a big surprise for Donald Trump.
Yes.
That would be a sad day in America.
Okay. Well, you just said the sad day of America. Well, what we were discussing also, that I want to go back to it, is Donald Trump and his speech, what he made today.
Sure.
What's your comments on that?
Comments on the speech.
Comments on that speech, especially when he said, Hillary says, I am with her. And my motto is, I am with you, the American people.
Okay.
What does he mean by that?
Okay.
And he keep repeating himself, and he says that, let's get back to, let's make America great again. What do you mean by again? What do you mean by let's make America great again?
Well, some of the key things that he said was that we need change. Obama's whole platform was change. What did we get? I would submit to you, for the different racial groups, the African Americans, the Hispanics, specifically those two big voting blocs, which comprise a lot of liberals.
How he's going to bring change, and how he's going to make the great America great again when he does not have any experience being a politician. He has no knowledge about writing policies or running the cabinets or running the government. He has no clue. How he's just a CEO of the company, which is so many of companies were failed, so many things were not doing good, and they're still not doing good. How he claims that he's going to be the best president and he need to be voted and selected.
And I think most Republicans or conservatives would say, so what did you get for the last 8 years? With all of that experience that Hillary and Obama had, you didn't get anything. Nothing improved. If anything, you got worse racial relations than we've ever had. You've got more people on food stamps than we've ever had. 45% more people on food stamps than when Obama took office. This is a more handout, give me society than it has ever been since Obama took over. Now, if you want to continue that, you know, you go down the path of either self-sufficiency with Trump, or you go down the path of no responsibility and socialism, basically, with Hillary.
Okay.
And so, you know, Trump is for change. He wants the people to have a sense of purpose. And just highlighting a few things, a strong military. We've got the weakest military that we've ever had. Obama has done nothing but decimate the military. That's why we're not a strong power in the world, and people don't perceive us as a strong power in the world anymore.
Talking about the military, let me go back to you and ask you this question. Today, there were a couple of tests were done with the missiles from the North Korea. And what they have done today is to prove that yes, they can have any kind of attack, even a mobile attack or any kind of military attack. What do you think? How our country, how our president, the current president, Mr. Obama, is looking at it, and how this North Korea can go and do things like that, and our government is just watching?
I think these issues require deep understanding on these subjects. Nuclear proliferation is not an easy subject for anybody. We hope and pray that people who have nuclear arsenal, they are smart enough and they are agile enough to understand the consequence of having that. We have historically been able to control that, being the global leader. And I think we need to monitor them. We want to make sure that we contain them, make sure that he does not do things which he goes out of the range of our thought process in America. I am not personally knowledge of how to handle them. Obviously, he does make belligerent efforts to annoy Americans.
Yeah, this is the second time repeatedly.
And
yes.
I know that this country is very resilient. This country has laws. There are agencies involved in it, and they stay on top of these things. And I have full faith in them that they'll handle this right.
Yes, of course. Very good answer. See, we all love America. That's why we are here. We all come from the different parts of the globe. The reason we choose to be in this country, because for number one, we love freedom. It's a land of opportunity. And this is the country where we can all religion, all communities, we can all live together, and still, that's why we are called the United States of America. Okay, talking about the candidates that we have at this point, a lot of our people do not agree that Donald Trump, he makes a good candidate for to be a president of this country. He has some temperament issues, he has some different issues that people don't agree with. At the same time, more people disagree with Hillary Clinton to be a president. They think she's not a good candidate because she had lied about Benghazi, there's some email issues, then having a private servers, and a lot of issues that people keep bringing it up. Now, there's another group that is out of the blue. Now that we're seeing more and more, they were first joined in or got involved in 1971. That is our liberal group, Mr. Gary Johnson. Okay, now he is the governor of New Mexico, and he is representing the Libertarian Party. What do you guys think about that now? Is that an option for us?
Well, it's presented as an option because there's a lot of discontent between the two parties. There's equally as many people, I think, that don't like Hillary as there is Trump.
Correct.
Hence, you've got a libertarian party now that's running, okay? And my understanding and what I've seen on the polling is that 18 to 20% of Bernie Sanders constituents are probably going to vote libertarian. And that's where, you know, some of that whole coalition, you know, is founded.
But Mr. Bernie said he's going to help Hillary.
Sure, but the reason why they jumped on Bernie's bandwagon is because for those 20% at least, a libertarian's mindset, if you look at what the Libertarian Party is all about, is about them not having to necessarily conform to other people's ideas. They don't want to conform necessarily to Hillary's or Trump's. They want to be their own person. So they want the personal liberty, the economic liberty, they want security, and quite frankly, a lot of the libertarian philosophy, if you read about it, is a little bit more in line with the conservative than it is the liberal, quite frankly.
Okay, same question to you.
I think if you go to the history of United States of America, this looks like a deja vu. We saw Ross Perot, and we saw that Bill Clinton got elected. And it looks like a resurgence of the Libertarian Party. They may end up delivering Hillary Clinton again to the White House. So
you strongly feel that the
I think
voters
Republican has not figured out and cleaned their ducks. These both candidates are Republican. This is a Republican are still divided, although Donald Trump has clinched the essential number of votes to get the nomination. Every day we hear that there is going to be something in the convention. Third, this Libertarian Party is another shoot of that. I think it looks like the stars are all set up to have Hillary Clinton to be the president. Now, I understand, he's right. There are issues on either side. But with all this issue side and the Libertarian Party, Republican not getting together and getting behind their candidate, obvious answer is they are handing the president to Clintons.
Well, very, very well said. In fact, a lot of people are thinking the way you just mentioned that, yes, we are thinking of going the middle way. And they're thinking the liberal way is the middle way to go, since they cannot go to, they don't want to support the Donald Trump, and they do not want to support Hillary Clinton either. So where do they go? So they think, okay, this Liberal Party is their only option to go now. So they are probably going to go. You think more votes are going to come to the Liberal Party and more Republican votes are also going to go to the Republican Party? I mean, to the Liberal Party?
I think it's going to depend on Trump and what he does, no doubt about it.
Yes, we're going to discuss on that when we come back from the break. Welcome back to TV Houston, Diversity Talk. As we were discussing, a lot of issues that matters to us, matter to all Americans. And let's say we're talking about the radical Islam, we're talking about the shooting that just took place. We were talking about different issues that regarding Hillary Clinton and also regarding the Donald Trump. We were discussing that why they make the better candidate, and we were also discussing why the other one does not make a good candidate. So having said that, Diversity Political Coalition is a coalition that we want to bring all the diversity group together. We want to help them to go do a vote registration, because I think this is a problem in our local community here. I'm talking about the diverse community here. Let's say Indians and Pakistanis and Nepalis and Bangladeshi, Sri Lankan, Tibetan, Burmese, all of these people, you know what? They want to say some things, they want to have the law change, and they want to have all these benefits coming to them. But again, they're not doing anything about it. They're not going out of the house, and they don't like to go and do the registration for the vote. They could be eligible to vote. They have green card in this country. Most of them are citizen, but they are just being lazy, or what is it? I mean, since you are from the Pakistani community, and let me ask you this question to you. What is, you think, is the issue with our community? Why they don't like to go and vote and cast their vote and cast their right?
I think political awareness. We need to make sure that if you didn't vote, then you don't have no right to talk about these issues, because this country, the democracy, which is the fabric we are, good or bad, what it is, this is the best instrument of expression of getting elected. There is no country in the world, the most powerful country in the world, just in one election the leadership changes. Doesn't happen. This is a living miracle. But in order to achieve that, the minorities who move here, not first generation, at least second generation, they are moving towards that. I know from my own experience, Mr. Durrani and some of the other Pakistani community leaders, we have done so many rallies. So many people have gone to the delegate. Some of them have been elected as super delegate. As a matter of fact, I remember several years ago, I got involved in campaigning for a candidate for a council member in Houston. And we were able to elect MJ Khan,
yes.
to the council. And he served there. But when he was served there, he served all districts, all people of that community, Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi. And with that, we came what he created in Houston, an international mosaic of council, in which all the names that you have mentioned, they attend that and they have a function that multicultural society integrating with each other. I feel if you don't speak, you're not an American. I feel at heart, I am American, and nobody is bigger or smaller than patriot than me. And I tell you a small story. I was in the clinic when a patient, a female came and said, Dr. Kadir, I am a little bit pregnant. So I smiled. I said, listen, young lady, either you are pregnant or you're not pregnant.
Correct.
So I am an American. I'm not a big or small American. I am an American. I have all the rights. I can exercise that. And among that right, freedom of speech, First Amendment, Second Amendment, I am strongly believe in the Constitution. The most powerful thing that I have enjoyed in this country is the law. And the laws this country exercise. Nobody exempt, even the president of this country. But that power comes through the exercising of your vote. And I think if somebody is hearing me, my message is register yourself and vote. Vote your conscience, whatever you want to do. But do vote.
Yeah, let me repeat that for you. Mr. Kadir is reaching out to you by saying that please go out and vote, and you can only vote if you register to vote. So make an effort and go out and register to vote, and so you can have a right, you can have a speech, you can have a voice. That's what we want to do. We want to say so many things. We have so many opinions. We have so many things to talk about. But again, if we do not have, if we do not cast our vote, then there's nothing can be done. We are our community, our diverse community, people from South Asian, people from Asian community. I would say that we all need to get involved from the local level up. Like we just started this diversity political coalition, and I would urge more and more people to come and join with us, because we do participate, we do help in rallies, we do organize the rallies here for all the candidates, that we need to just kind of have them come in, listen to the candidates and make their mind after that. Whoever you go out and vote, doesn't really matter. Another agenda that we also have is that we also, another than voter registration, as we said, rallies, we do voter registration. We also have a spot here where people can come in and register for voting as well. And then we also have a political action committee, which is Diversity PAC, that they can come and donate money for their candidates. They can support them, whoever they feel like it. So they are more than welcome to come and support our coalition. And then we have this show. Through this television diversity talk show, what we are trying to do is reach out to you, the viewers, from all the diverse communities. Is we're trying to reach out to you. Why? Because we want you to get involved. We want you to come forward and then support our coalition, and not only with your money or not only just being there, just be there for us and help us to pick the candidates and to help them out. It's all about getting together and working together. All the communities need to work together. So let me go back to you, Mr. Frank. That's the last comment that I want to hear is entire Republican community. Well, Texas is a Republican state, as we all know that, and they got a lot of delegates here. So what do you think is the outcome is going to be for this election? In yours, just summarize all of that together for me, if you will.
For the entire election, or just for Texas, or for the presidential election? I think it's going to be
for Texas.
For Texas. I think that Texas, by just the nature of it being conservative, will hold its conservative values, and I think that you'll see, whether it's a tight race or not, I think you'll see that the conservatives will end up winning the race here in Texas for Trump, as opposed to the Democrats. But Texas keeps changing, you know, with the diversity. And I think you see more and more Democrats that probably will continue to be populating Texas more so than not. And by virtue of that, I think the Republican Party and conservatives really need to hone in on their message on what value do we add to everybody, you know, and the conservative values are something that we hold near and dear, but as the majority of the population tends to get a little bit more progressive, if you will, we'll probably have to get a little bit more progressive with it in some of those cases. There has to be a little bit give or take instead of being just as staunch conservative as we typically are. I don't know exactly where that goes and what that is, but just by looking at the population and how it's going to emerge over the years, we'll have to change a few things instead of staying the normal conservative party. There's no doubt about it.
What? Yeah.
And I think Trump is actually doing some of that right now.
Okay. Well, I just do want to also mention that Diversity Political Coalition, we are nonpartisan. That's one of the reasons that I can invite people from the both side of the party and be able to discuss this issue. And same question, let me ask you. Texas being a Republican, majority of Republican people right here, what do you think the outcome is going to be for this presidential year?
I think this presidential race really revolutionized all Americans. Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump has really shown that there is an anger in the vast majority of Americans that people have not understood that he is a service. This is the biggest service he has done, whether he wins Donald Trump or not. But the service he has done for the unsung heroes, how the people think, how they're suffering, what their wages, how their jobs are lost, how the immigration issues are there. Now, everybody knew that, but he highlighted in such a way that it really changed the outcome and the thought process of Republicans. I am a doctor. I am a conservative. I am affluent. It's my natural trend to be a Republican. Republican doesn't reach to these people who are naturally could be their alliance. They have alienated by whatever it is happening.
Why? What is the reason, though?
Whatever the reason, but my question is, and which stands for everybody, that this country, there is a lot of things that the Washington has not understood that.
Okay.
And both parties has done a job. Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump have done the job. And one of the biggest thing in Houston, which is done by diversity, that we have a world-class host by name of Sangeeta, who is promoting this diversity show, that we are talking to each other. We haven't fought with each other. I'll extend my hand to you because we love each other.
Yeah.
So I think we talk to more, and Texas used to be one time Democrat. The Houston electoral mayor is more Democrat. But Texas state-wise, we always have elected governor for Republican for years now, after we had a lady governor years ago.
Yes, yes.
Whether it's a Republican or whether it's Democrat, whether it's red or blue, it's nothing one color. The real
Well,
color
today I
is
am wearing
American
blue.
color. Right.
So that does not make me a Democrat or
No, you are American.
Not make me against
Yeah, but your
Republican.
lipstick is red, so you are combined already.
Exactly. My lipstick is red, while my coat is blue.
Right.
With that being said, I would say thank you to both of you, Mr. Manasili. Thank you for being here today and
you, Sangeeta.
bringing your views to the table. And thank you so much, Dr. Asaf Kadir. Thank you so much for being a part of our show, and your views and your opinions are really valuable to us. And with that said, I would say that Diversity Political Coalition, once again, we are non-partisan, and what we do here, we're trying to bring the diversity groups together. Politically, we want them to be involved, politically involved in the local level. So come forward and help us reach us out, and you can always reach us at diversitypoliticalcoalition.com and .political.org, both. And my name is Sangeeta Dua. I'm the host of TV Houston, and we'll see you next time, next Wednesday, same time, same place.